247 Sports did their way too early bowl projections, and it had FSU way, way high in it. Miami was way, way low in it, and UF was nowhere to be found. Currently, they have the Seminoles finishing number 3 in the country, getting a first-round bye, and then playing in the Sugar Bowl. Richie and I chatted about Miami adding Cam Ward this weekend in our live show. If you missed that, I'll show it to you in just a moment. But first, I want you to see what 247 Sports thinks about the Miami Hurricanes in 2024, even after they added Cam Ward. When projecting what Miami would do this year, they said that they would end up in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. They're in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's obviously not often that Miami is able to make it to Charlotte. They've made it one time since their time in the ACC, and they kicked a sad field goal against Clemson when they were down by 30 plus. But I digress. Miami versus Oklahoma in the Mayo Bowl for the 2024 season. The Hurricanes picked up a major offseason win when transfer portal quarterback Cameron Ward decided against the NFL draft and made his plans official at Miami. He comes with a great deal of expectations considering Mario Cristobal has loaded this roster with skill talent around him. Miami's missing piece in 2024 was under center, and now the Hurricanes have one of the cycle's best available quarterbacks. Maybe they're a dark horse ACC title candidate. So there's the thoughts on Miami getting to Charlotte, but not in the way you would think they would. They would go to the Mayo Bowl, according to 247 Sports. Now, it's really early. It is January, and a lot can change. So we'll see what the year looks like. For those that maybe aren't aware, this year's Mayo Bowl contestant from the ACC was an 8-4 UNC team. The year before was an 8-4 North Carolina State team. The year before was a 6-6 UNC team. The year before was a 4-4 Wake team. That was the COVID year. The year before was an 8-4 Virginia Tech team, and the year before, 2018, was a 7-5 UVA team. A team that goes 8-4 is likely as good as you're going to get in the Mayo Bowl. And so what's that telling you? I couldn't find a 9-3 team there in recent history. And going back way, way farther, it wasn't even the Mayo Bowl, and the records in status of bowls changes, and so it's not really relevant. But essentially, 247 Sports is saying, hey, yeah, we saw that Cam Ward addition, and we think that Miami's going to go 8-4 at very best, which is crazy to me that that's as good as they think that it's going to get. When you think about where Miami's at, what this season is probably going to mean for them, and what Mario Cristobal needs to do, 8-4 would be a complete disaster. Let's look at their schedule just really quickly. If they go 8-4, I think that's a major problem. Here's how I see their schedule playing out, just very quickly. We've got the Florida Gators to start the year. I'd say that's a toss-up game. To maybe Miami's a slight favorite. Say they win or lose. It doesn't matter. I think that's a game that they could certainly lose. Billy Napier's on the hot seat already, but let's say that that's a toss-up. They should be big favorites against Florida A&M, Ball State, USF, and at Cal. Miami should beat Georgia Tech, even though that's on the road. That should be a game Miami wins. Now, I'll give them space. Losing at Louisville would not be a shock. And so maybe we say that's another game they drop. That's fine. They played Louisville close this year. They could win that game. They should be a big favorite when they play Duke at home. Florida State should beat them. Florida State's a better team, a much better coach. That'd be another game that I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. Virginia Tech, they should be a huge favorite against them. They should be a big favorite against Wake. And honestly, they should be a pretty big favorite at Syracuse as well. To me, the worst case scenario for Miami should be 9-3. And that would be you lose the game to open the season against a really bad Florida team and a really bad Billy Napier coach team. You'll also be losing to Florida State at home for the 4th year in a row and losing on the road at Louisville. But 9-3 is the absolute floor to me. You can't go out and get Cam Ward and have all that talent around you and do worse than that. But 247 Sports says that that's not the case. 247 Sports says that they will go worse than 9-3. It says they'll go 8-4. They'll end up in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Hey, we'll get right back to it, but I wanted to show a little bit of love to my buddy Alex Knapp over at Knapp Injury Law. Hey, we've asked you guys to save his number and put it in your cell phone if you ever need it. Again, 813-568-3724. It's knappinjurylaw.com. They made today's video possible, but do me a favor. I'm going to send a link in the description to leave a review for Alex's firm. Now, you haven't used Alex's firm, so I wouldn't lie or say, oh, he was the best attorney I've ever had or anything like that. But if you just want to give him a good rating on Google, give him a 5-star rating because you appreciate him supporting this channel and our show, I'd appreciate that a ton. You don't have to lie and say, oh, he helped me win $10 million. Don't do any of that. Be honest. But if you just want to show him some love for the way that he's supported the channel, the way that he's helped our show grow, that would mean a lot to me. I'm not going to get anything for reviews. You don't need to mention our channel. I don't want anything for myself. I want to show him some respect and some love. If you are hurt or injured in an Uber and Lyft accident, a car accident, anything like that, make sure that Alex Knapp and Knapp Injury Law is who you reach out to. You may need his services one day. You may not. Either way, save his info. That way, if you ever are in need, you ever are in a car accident, you can reach out to him immediately. Appreciate Alex for his support. Go leave him a Google review at the link in the description when this video is done. Richie and I chatted about the addition of Cam Ward and what it means for Miami. Take a listen to that. Let's talk about this. Cam Ward to the U.
Great pickup.
Yeah, announced that he was going to the NFL draft, and on January 1st, Miami moved on and got a kid to transfer from Albany. Is that right? Jared Verse's old stomping grounds?
Yeah, Hufflepuff or whatever.
Yeah, Huffenberger or I don't know, some Harry Potter name. They got him to transfer in. Miami trying to figure out their quarterback situation desperately. Rate this 1 to 10, 10 being God's honest truth, swear on the Bible, and 1 being absolutely could not be a bigger lie. Cam Ward got a day 2 draft grade, like a 2nd or 3rd round draft grade, and decided to forego those millions of dollars and come back to play for Mayo Cristobal.
Big mistake, in my opinion. And I think Cam Ward is a really good college football quarterback, and he's going to be really good for Miami. I think he's going to be misused, but he's a really good college quarterback. I don't think he even got a 3rd round draft grade.
I don't either.
Because why would you forego the draft if that was the case at his age? You know, he's 24 years old now. I mean, it's the point where, man, he probably got close.
A little younger. He's a little younger. 21.
Okay. Well, he probably still, based on deciding to go to college, Miami probably overpaid for him, which is fine. Again, he's a very good college quarterback, and Florida State will have their hands full with him. I'm not going to try and deny that. He might have gotten an undrafted grade from the scouts and the people that are paid money to do this. I don't know. I just don't think he was that coveted in the draft. And at the highest, maybe 4th round at best, if a team wants to take a chance on you. Yeah, I just, if we're talking just college, really good quarterback, Florida State will have their hands full, but he's not an NFL quarterback based on him coming back, in my opinion.
The first pick of the 2nd round gets a contract worth approximately $9.9 million. A signing bonus.
He wasn't getting that.
Yeah, a signing bonus of 4.2. The last pick of the 2nd round gets a $6.17 million contract. So just call it a $6 million contract and a 1.5. It's 1.49, but just call it a $1.5 million signing bonus. If you thought for even 40% of you, right, 2nd or 3rd round, if you thought that there was a chance that you could get $6 million, there is no chance in hell that you would risk because you're going to be a backup, right? Like Cam Ward wasn't going to start anywhere. And so it's not like he's going to the NFL with the risk of injury, right? It's not like he was going in and possibly risking his career by going out there and starting as a rookie. And so if you truly thought that you could be a 2nd or 3rd round NFL draft pick, if that was the grade that he told The Athletic that he was getting, there is zero chance you would risk that to come back and play for, again, Mayo Cristobal. There's no chance. And I don't know that you should do it for any coach. I think that if you can, because Richie, you're a 3rd round pick, right? You're a 2nd round pick. You have $5-6 million. And what are you doing at that point? You're being developed by NFL staffs. You're being developed by guys whose only job is to make you better for their franchise, to make you better for the NFL. Whereas Mario Cristobal's job is to win college football games. It is a secondary job to develop kids. There's no doubt about it. You want your kids to be ready for the NFL. But that is a balance, right, of a college coach is, hey, I need to win games. I also need to get guys ready for the NFL. Mario Cristobal has a losing record at Miami. He has to win football games, or else they're not going to keep him around. And so
he's going to run him to death.
Yeah. Cam Ward getting to the NFL and improving his draft stock, it can only go one way, right? Because I think he probably got an undrafted grade too. But the idea that you turn down a second round paycheck to come back and play for Miami, for a coach that's under 500 at Miami, for a coach that's 73-72 overall, there's no chance. I don't believe it at all. Now, I agree with you. Miami, with Cam Ward, upgraded at quarterback. The problem is they still have Mario Cristobal as their coach, and that's the biggest issue with Miami. They've also got one wide receiver that transferred to UGA. They've got
Georgia.
another wide receiver I saw that was in jail or something this weekend.
Oh, Jesus.
And I saw their fans posting mugshots.
Speaking of Georgia racing people down the highway.
So I was a little bit confused. They got like George and Young, and so I don't even know which one's which, but one transferred to Georgia, the other one's got speed racing down, and I'm like, you guys should have flipped. Like that would have been so maybe that kid transfers to Georgia too. Seems like he's a good culture fit.
Man.
But that'll get clipped. But I think it really does. It probably sets the expectations a little bit higher for Miami. We don't have to do a full schedule breakdown of them or anything, but when you look at their schedule, the only games they realistically should lose would be maybe in the Swamp, maybe against Florida State and Louisville. They should win the other 9 games on their schedule. They absolutely should. They're going to be a favorite in all 9 of them.
Oh, we'll find a way to lose at least 1 or 2 more.
And they'll probably be a favorite.
Whoa, Joel.
And they'll probably be a favorite when whoa, Joel, let's get it. Just on your show, love the content. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate that, my man. Do we have a Florida State one for him? You can do a good one.
Yeah, plant the spear, whatever it is. Play some Jeff Cole.
Touchdown, Florida State! Touchdown, FSU!
But all that to say, I think it makes the expectation they got to win 9 or 10 games with a second or third round quarterback coming back.
If they don't get to Charlotte, it's a fireable offense.
Yeah. And the thing is, they'll probably go 8-4. They'll probably go 7-5 or 8-4.
Oh, 100%.
And they certainly could. I think they could beat Florida. I think they could beat us. I think there are games they could win, but
Florida's gonna be trash next year.
I think it's I don't know. I think the expectations there are going to be up. They've got to win. They're talking about the playoff. They should. Yes, they
won't be in the playoff. No, even in the Swamp, I'm going to take Miami. I'd take them -7.5 against Florida. To be honest,
-7.5. Oh, two score win in the Swamp.
I would take that.
So to me, the biggest advantage that Florida had in that game was quarterback. I thought Mertz was the guy, and so now what's their advantage?
Miami has a better quarterback. They have the better offensive line. They have the better defensive line. I think they're questionable at their skill positions at Miami and Florida as well. I don't know, but I just think Miami's better where it counts. I would take Miami.
I thought that Florida could maybe hang around in that game because, one, it's in the Swamp. That's a tough place to play. You saw our guys.
It really is.
Blow them out either. And I thought they had the quarterback advantage. Mertz played a lot better last year than I thought. And if you were going to roll out Mertz versus Ja'Cory Brown, I thought Mertz could probably make a few more plays than Brown did, or Emery, or whoever you were going to start. I thought that Mertz would, even though I thought Miami had a better roster, I thought that Florida's quarterback and home field would give them the edge. And it would really come down to which coach screwed it up more, which it still might come down to that.
Right.
But at this point, it would surprise me at this point, and there's a long way to go between now and then, and we'll learn a lot about these teams through the offseason, the spring, and everything else. It would surprise me if Miami didn't win that game. And Florida man, we could spend an hour talking about Florida, so we'll move on from there. But
Florida might get blown out, honestly.
I could see them getting run. And I'll tell you this, their schedule is one of the toughest I've ever seen.
Yes,
and
it is.
they've got to play in their first 4 games. They've got to play Miami, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M.
And UCF, right?
They play UCF the next week with KJ Jefferson, a guy
easy.
who beat them by himself with a 2-10 Arkansas team. Or sorry, it was like a 2-8 Arkansas team at the time. Then they got to play Tennessee and Kentucky, and then their last 5 are UGA, Ole Miss, Texas, LSU, and Florida State. Like it is, it's a lot of losses coming there. So
they're going 0 for November for sure.
Yeah, just like this year. So, all right, somebody get up there and beat Joel on that.
Good luck.
We don't have Cash App, Philip. I got shut down for gambling. Sorry about that. The Venmo and the PayPal's all we got, man. Or send it through the YouTube or sign up for Patreon or something. I don't know. Sorry about that. Now Mario consistently does less with more. He's just not a good coach. And at the end of the day, you have to accept that. You have to realize that that's what it is. Is the addition of Cam Ward really a good one? Absolutely. He's a good quarterback. But Tyler Van Dyke was a good quarterback 2 years ago when Mario got there. Mario talked about him being a Heisman candidate and a first-round future NFL draft pick. And he is anything but that at this point because he regressed so much under Mario Cristobal. Mario's not a good coach. He doesn't take care of his players. He doesn't put them in position to win games. He's 1 win over 500. He's 73-72 overall. Just not a good coach at all. Last year, they had the 12th most talented team, according to 247 Sports. When you look at the 247 composite, the team talent composite, they were 12th in the country, and they lost 6 games. One of those being to Rutgers, another to Georgia Tech. They were just not good. And do we really think that they're going to get a lot better this year? Now, again, I think they should win 7, 8, 9 games. I think anything less than 8 is a complete disaster. I think less than 9 is trouble for them. And I think the national media knows that too. It's an early projection. We'll see if Miami ends up in the Mayo Bowl. We will certainly make a funny video if they do, pointing back to this one. But they're thought of as a joke. They're thought of as an absolute laughingstock. Where Florida State lost how many draft picks this year and their heart and soul and their quarterback, and then their backup quarterback too. Florida State is being thought of as a team that can compete for the 12-team playoff, a team that could get the 3 seed in the 12-team playoff. That's the national perception of Florida State. Meanwhile, the national perception of Miami is an absolute laughingstock. The 12th most talented team last year. You've got Miami writers writing reports on and stories on how Miami is going to be so good this year and their team talent's going to be so high in the ACC. It was the second best in the ACC last year, behind only Clemson's. Now, they beat Clemson on the field, but they just couldn't get it done. And they lost 6 games when it all came down to it. And they just weren't a great team. And getting Cam Ward is not going to change that. Listen, I'm all for covering those Seminoles and talking about how good we're going to be, but it is a lot of fun to make fun of Miami and understand that the rest of the country thinks that they're a joke as well. Maybe everybody except for Josh Pate, who has some kind of weird obsession with Mario. Maybe it's the weightlifting. I don't know. But everyone knows they're a joke, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. A lot going on the channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed us taking a couple of shots at Miami. What are your thoughts? What does their record end up being this year? Let's talk about it down in the comments. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Go Noles.